How's Owen doing?
Fine, college. How are you doing?
It's 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Oakland Mayor and Council meeting, December 20th, 2023. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. The meeting will adjourn no later than 10 p.m. unless a majority of the council members that are present vote to extend the time. At this time, I ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please remain standing for a moment of silence. And it's the end of the year. I could personally say this, I hope that next year, 2024, you all find health and happiness, because if you have your health, you have everything. So everybody, I wish you a very healthy 2024. Be seated. Roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Here.
Councilman McCann? Councilman Pignatelli? Councilman Saliani?
Here.
Councilman Slasinski?
Here.
Councilman Talamini?
Here.
Mayor Schwager?
Here. I thought I heard a buzz. Can you look at your phones and put them on mute or vibrate or turn them off? And also, please refrain from texting, because it's very discourteous and could be construed as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, especially if you are texting somebody up here at the dais. Thank you.
Can I make a motion to excuse Councilman Pignatelli, and I understand that Councilman McCann will be late.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, my mayor's report. As many of you know or don't know, this is my last meeting as mayor for the past 12 years. 12 years. I've had the honor to serve as your mayor. During these years, I played a major role in the many positive changes in our town. I have tried to do what is best for all our residents. I never picked out any particular residents. But now it's time for me to step down and take care of my family. As I said, the most important thing in life is your good health. If you have good health, you're okay, and your family. And on a personal level, I have to take care of my husband right now. However, I leave with many projects that have begun and sincerely hope that the new administration will continue the progress and complete the work that I started. For example, the water purification treatment. As you know, for the past couple of years, we've been dealing with the PFOA, the PFAS in our town, as most towns have had the problem with water purification. Equipment and permits are set, received, and scheduled. We should be operational by February 2024. So you can all drink the water without fear. Patriots Way Bridge is fully funded with the money obtained through the NJDOT and the grants we received through the NJ Community Affairs. And tonight, there is going to be a resolution to approve the contractor. Allen Brook stabilization, Holly, it'll keep going. You will be stabilized on Ellerman Brook. And I drive by there regularly, especially after a rain. I make sure you're okay. After years of negotiations, sewer service is a reality in our downtown. Shortly, our 3 sewer treatment plants will be hooked up to the Northwest Bergen Utilities Authority. Now remember, Northwest Bergen Utilities Authority is not the BCUA, which, don't get confused, the BCUA is the Bergen County Utilities Authority, which deals with the recycling, the Class B recycling plant. But the Northwest Bergen Utilities Authority, and with that, sewers will hopefully, and I feel very optimistically, extend to our downtown. This will encourage commercial businesses, and that will certainly help stabilize our taxes. Bush Plaza Park, we called it the gateway to the revitalized downtown. To continue to move forward the plan for this park in the center of town, I know we were waiting for plans from Boswell Engineering. I was told they're, well, we'll hear from Kevin Boswell. And for many years, the planning board and our town planner has worked on the revitalization of our downtown with the business area, with the anticipation of sewers. We must be proactive and be ready so that when the sewers start coming, so will the developers. So instead of working afterwards and thinking about what we should have done or do afterwards, we have to be proactive for sewers and developers. And as everybody knows, during my 12 years, my special heart goes to the children and recreation. And I hope it's continued. Our highly reputable recreation program will be bigger and better. And I thank all of the volunteers. I can't see, I have problems here. I thank all of the volunteers who work in that rec program. Mike Ward, you were the chairman since day one. I convinced you and you stayed on. We have great chairman, commissioners on our recreation board. We are so lucky with the volunteers in rec. The rec program is beyond words. I get so emotional when I talk about our recreation program. And that's why so many people move into our town, especially with the young people. And one of the ideas that we were working on, and I hope it does come to pass, is the possibility of the splash pad. That was something brought up this year. I hope it does become a reality. That would be so wonderful to have the splash pad in our rec program. Plans for the Children's Museum, again, with children, children has been my thing. The Stream House was finally well, I'm not allowed to say demolished. What was the word I'm supposed to use, Richard? Deconstructed. It was an eyesore in town. At one time it was very special, but it did become an eyesore. And my dream was to replace it with a children's museum. As you know, the second grades used to come and take a tour of Van Allen House and the Stream House. And the Stream House will become a children's museum because I don't know if many of you know, during the Revolutionary War, for a very short time, Oakland was the county seat because during the Revolutionary War, they burned down the courthouse in Hackensack. And that is the name of Courthouse Place, where the Knights of Columbus is, and the Exxon station, right opposite the exit of 287/208. And so it's a special place. We were a county seat for a very short time. Then one of the prisons burned down the jail, but that's another story. But it would be wonderful to make that stream, and I know the plans were set to make the Stream House into a children's museum that will encourage the children to learn about the history of Oakland, learn about the history of our county. And history is so important to be followed. The Arts Pavilion, the band shell, through one of our former councilmen, we were able to get the donation from Visions Bank for the band shell. We were supposed to have the ribbon cutting, and every Saturday that we were supposed to have the ribbon cutting, it rained. So the ribbon cutting and the band shell and the concerts will be in the spring. And hopefully all the residents will continue with the Arts Council as part of it. I try to communicate with residents, good news, bad news, blah news, by doing those reverse 911 calls. I hope that continues. We have a wonderful communications commission. We have the electronic newsletter. We have emails going out regularly. You can get a text, you get an emergency call if, God forbid, there's an emergency. And on Friday nights, I used to make calls to give you an update on what was happening, which started during COVID, so that you know if there's an emergency and what should be done. So I hope the communication with our residents does continue. and mostly continue our opposition to the proposed Class B. I'm reading because otherwise I'll forget because I'm so emotional. Continue the opposition with the Class B recycling facility on West Oakland Avenue. I know 2 of the councilmen went to the meeting last night. I've been in constant contact with powers that be at the BCUA to get updates. But if I had purchased "Don't Dump in Oakland" signs, I still have some in my law office. Anybody's willing to take if you want one of those signs. And just pick them up. It's for you. And I have more petitions. I used to have petitions in my office. People would just come in, sign petitions. Letters were sent to me. And so the deadline for the petitions and the letters is this next week. So I'm giving them to you. That's the ends of the petitions that I have signed. I want to thank the employees of the borough. We are very lucky with our employees. Our police officers are fantastic. We have a great police force. They're young, a lot of them young, but the young ones are now starting to get older and retire. But I thank our police officers for all you do for us, for all you do, and especially for the children, and encourage the children. If you've never attended one of the graduations for the Junior Police Academy, you're missing something very special. To watch how the officers take the children on a week, 1 week, 2 weeks? 1 week. And it's just an amazing experience for our children. And to the fire department, I held off because I heard you were helping somebody in an elevator. So here you are. I can't thank you enough for all your volunteerism in the fire department. When I would go to mayor's meetings and we would talk about fire department, and then I said, I just rave about our fire department. Thank you on behalf of all the residents for all you do for our town. You're not getting paid. It's a volunteer job. You get called out at whatever hour and you're there. Thank you. And to the first aid squad. Unfortunately, the Schwagers have needed them, so I know how wonderful they are. You are terrific. I can't thank you enough. Many towns don't even have a volunteer first aid squad anymore. They have to pay because they don't have the volunteers to come out and help. You are so appreciated, and I hope that my sentiments really carry to all the volunteers in our town, the boards, the commissions, everybody. We are so lucky with our volunteers and our residents. And I live in Oakland. You have to live in Oakland to be up here. My law office is in Oakland. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm very involved with the Chamber of Commerce. And my law office is inside the Coppertree Mall. My door will always remain open. People are still calling me. The job of mayor, which is why it's so important, the job of mayor is full-time. It's a 24/7 job. I would get calls at my office. I'd get calls at home, calls on my cell phone, texts, emails. They would walk into my office and they just need someone to talk to. I couldn't always help them. I couldn't forward their issues to someone else, but a good mayor is a full-time job and it's a lot of work, and I thank you for giving me that opportunity for the past 12 years. But it gets tiring, and it's time to retire. It's time to take care of my family. But I moved to Oakland with my husband 50 years ago. We moved from New York. I never lost my New York accent. You know, I'm still from New York. But I love this town. I'm so proud of the town. I'm so proud of being a resident of Oakland. It is a fantastic town. And I'm not going anywhere. I still will work wherever I can to help anybody. You have questions, my doors will stay open at all times. And in fact, I'm telling the council now, there's a vacancy on the zoning board, I checked. So I'm putting in a citizens leadership form for next year to fill the vacancy on the zoning board as an alternate. I mean, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, and I hope you will consider putting me and appointing me on the zoning board next year, because I am not leaving this town. I am going to be here. You're stuck with me. And with that, I just thank everybody for giving me the privilege and the honor to be a mayor for 12 years. I know it's a long time. You're probably tired of me by now. I know I set a precedent because I was told this has been the first time for 3 terms of a mayor, especially a woman, especially my political party. It is an anomaly in Oakland. But with all that, I thank you so much for the opportunity that you have given me for the past 12 years. And with that, thank you. And a happy New Year. Because we're going to hold off on the engineer's report because I know the fire department is here, and unless you want to hear the engineer's report, but I think you'd rather have me swear in the firefighters. So with that, Nicholas and Justin. I have it. Yeah. Oh. So, we have Nicholas, and is it Kisek?
Keycheck.
Kitchek.
Yeah.
And Justin Longo.
Justin can't make it.
Oh. Well, Justin's not here.
I'll send it to him. Yep.
Okay, so you ready?
Yep.
You need a Bible.
Is it there?
No. What happened to it?
Not here.
Oh, here it is. Hold on.
And who's going to hold it? Family.
What family?
Family.
Come on, Chief.
Somebody has to hold it. Somebody hold it.
Mom's coming.
Always. Mom's always coming, right?
Where do you want me to stand?
Okay. No, right hand up. Right hand, no, right. Ready? Okay. I'm going to say aye and you'll say your full name. I
I, Nicholas Keycheck,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the
and
same,
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same,
and the governments
and the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Firefighter Company 1
of the office of Firefighter Company 1
according
according
to the best of my
to the
ability.
best of my ability.
This is optional, so help me God.
So help me God.
Goodness, an option. Thank
Thank
you,
you
and
very
thank
much.
you for volunteering. You have to sign. You have to sign. Okay, sign, your name, and then your address. Print, and then
Can you just sign?
sign and then
And
address.
write his address.
Yeah,
Because his name's at the top, so.
right. Good check. Thank you for doing it. Great, thank you. I got it. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you so much. Now our engineer report.
Thank you, Mayor.
My fire department. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
you noted, there are a number of things going on that our office is involved in serving the borough on. Tonight we have recommendations to award a number of contracts. The first one is Jerome Avenue drainage improvements. This is for the replacement of some corrugated metal pipes that have reached the end of their service life, and there were bids received on December 19th. There were a total of 14 bids received. The low bid was received from Crossroads Paving Company in the amount of base bid of $133,350, with an alternate bid for some additional pipe work of $12,400. We are recommending the award of the base bid plus the alternate bid for a total contract amount of $145,750. If there's any questions, I'll move on to the next one. Okay. The next one is another drainage project, and that is the, right here. It's Lakeview Terrace drainage improvements. This was also bid on December 19th, and 13 bids were received, with the low bid being received from KM Construction in the amount of $123,706.85. We, like the earlier bid, we called up their references, and we are making a recommendation to award this contract to KM in the low bid amount of $123,706.85, the base bid. The third project is the Patriots Way Bridge. On November 21st, we received 7 bids for this project. The low bid was received from Conkis Construction of Hillsborough in the amount of $4,776,150.92. The next low bidder was about $1 million higher. So what happens in public bidding law is there is a period of time when an apparent low bid contractor can retract their bid. So we immediately reached out to the owner of that company, the president of that company, and discussed whether they felt comfortable with their bid. And Keith Conkis is the gentleman's name, and he said that he was comfortable and that he was very willing to do the job. And then we got into the references, and we spoke to engineers in Somerset County, Passaic County, contractor, a number of other counties, the DOT, and we came back with that the contractor does do a lot of bridge work. They are in a legal dispute with the DOT over one job down Hillsborough, but they are not debarred. And we've spent a lot of time going through the bid. We've spoken to Mr. Kunz on multiple occasions, and it is our recommendation. There is nothing of a legal nature to preclude us from recommending the award of this contract to this bidder. So as you probably are aware, there are 5 separate grants totaling about $8.85 million for this job. So we have actually more than enough money to pay for 100% of the job. As I said, the next higher bidder was $1 million high, over $1 million higher. So we are recommending the award of the bridge replacement project. It's a superstructure replacement. As you probably know, it's a 3-span bridge, 265 feet long, and the abutments appear to be fine. The trick to this job, the complexity of this job are the utilities. The utilities there's gas, there's water, there's electric, there's various communication conduits with wires in them, and it's in the floodway, it's in the floodplain, and there are a number of logistical issues with moving the utilities, and it's actually necessary to move the utilities twice. There's going to be a temporary relocation, temporary bridges to support the utilities, and then a permanent relocation once the new bridge is in place. The bridge itself is actually pretty straightforward. It's building the bridge around the utilities that must remain in service. That is the technically challenging part. It's going to be a difficult job. We're going to get through it, and we are recommending that this project be awarded to Compass Construction for immediate release, and we can get going with the contracts, scheduling of the pre-con, requesting of the construction schedule from the contractor, and I do, this is a 21-month schedule, and it is what makes the job difficult are the utilities. What makes the job long are the utilities. And if we can get the utility companies to be very responsive in moving the utilities onto the temporary bridges and back onto the permanent bridge, the job will go much quicker. And we all want that to happen. But it is a staging with 6 separate phases of this job. And as you know, you can't put the utilities under the bridge, because when the river comes up, that doesn't work. So you have to go above the bridge to temporarily support these utilities. Again, you have to keep them in service. So it's a difficult job. I can't even tell you how many hundreds of hours we've sat around ripping the plans apart to go through what we refer to as the constructability of the bridge. And we're comfortable with what's going to happen. There's a very specialized person that's going to be running the job in the field, but we're ready to let this job go and get the bridge replaced.
I have some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Doesn't that strike, I mean, some of you were on the council when we had the same issue with the river restoration, and we got the low bidder, and it was a disaster. So now I'm looking at these bids. Here's a bid, $4,700,000 change. And the next bid is $1 million more, and the other bids are higher than that. And that doesn't frighten you that there's a $1 million gap between the lowest bidder and the next few bidders? Also, I was receiving a lot of calls when the bids came out, and it was advertised from state senators from both sides of the aisle. I said, there's nothing I can do now. Plus, I didn't have a vote. Maybe it doesn't have a vote, but there's nothing I can do at this point. And I said, they're the lowest bidder, and there's nothing I can do. This council wants to award this bid. It's up for vote tonight. I pulled it out so that we can vote on it separately, but it just scares me that maybe because it was when I was brought up, if something is very low, it's like too good to be true. There's $1 million gap between them and the next few bidders. If you're comfortable, then the council will vote for it. I just worry about the change orders that are going to come down the pipe, and whether or not we're going to have the same issue we had with, remember, the river restoration. And so I just want the council to be very, very leery of this. And but you're the engineer. We always said that you're the professional. I'm not an engineer, I'm an attorney. I'm not an engineer. I don't know what to look for in specs. I don't know what to look for in the actual plans. I just see numbers, and when something is too good to be true, I just get very nervous. So we'll leave it in your hands, Kevin.
Mayor, yeah, that's a good point, because there's two aspects to what you just touched on. The first part is the number, and that was the first call that we made within, it's either 3 or 5 business days, and we called them immediately. I called him, and I said, how comfortable are you with this project? He said he was very comfortable with his number, and I went through that he didn't miss a number when the bridge itself is constructed by another company. It's called US Bridge. And so I said, you're comfortable with the supply and install on that? Yes. Then my chief inspector spent an hour and a half with him. Then I spent another half hour with our inspector. We contacted 6 of their different people that they had done jobs on, some of which they include in their bid. Others, we did some research and found other jobs. And it's a contractor that is capable of doing the work. They are a heavy bridge contractor, and they are an aggressive contractor. And we are going to have to work very hard to protect the interests of the borough. But again, this is public contracting, and I spoke to those same people that you spoke to. And we're gonna have to work very hard to protect the interest of the residents of
The other thing
of
is,
the
if you
borough.
recall, when you first became engineer, I'm sorry Councilman Pignatelli is not here. There was an engineer before you that this council liked very much. And at every council meeting, there were change orders, they needed more money. And finally, they were outvoted. So I just want this council, I won't be here to watch. I just want this council to just be prepared and just have a keen eye on any change orders that come along. And the other thing is, they are in litigation with the DOT, is that correct?
Yes,
And it's the DOT who's giving us all this money. Is that going to affect us?
we contacted the DOT. DOT said that they are in litigation with them on a project in Hillsborough. It's Route 202, 206. They are not on the barred list. They're
I didn't
also-
say they were, I just said, will
Yeah.
that affect
Yes.
our
We-
relationship with DOT?
No, we've been in contact with the DOT for the past 4 years on this project, trying
I know.
to assist in procuring grant
The money?
So we contacted the same people, which include right up to the Commissioner of the Department of
Right.
Transportation. And she has been very involved in this whole project. And based on the public bidding law, we feel compelled to recommend this contractor for this project.
Okay. I just worked so many years with this bridge, and I don't want to see anything go wrong. Okay, if you're comfortable, you're the engineer. Yes.
And
Oh, I just had a question. When you done, Kevin?
I'm done with this item. I was going to go on to another
Yeah, I
item.
just had a question on the bridge. What is really what was the differential, what was the cost for it to be $1 million less compared to the other bids? What was the driving factor on that?
He said that his method of supporting the utilities, he's building a different support system than the other contractors. And that was why he spent an hour and a half meeting with our chief inspector, as well as a resident engineer who's going to be assigned to the project.
Who's your chief inspector?
That happened last Friday, and they went through it all, and they viewed it, and I don't know whether you know it, but there still is the original pads, concrete pads on either side of the river from when the cranes were put there, when they originally built the bridge. So, we've drilled down very much into the specifics of this job, and the contractor believes that that's his differential of how to save so much money.
Who's your chief inspector?
Pete Panucci, and the resident engineer is Bob Graham.
Okay.
Bob Graham is currently running an $11 million job on River Drive in Garfield. It's a very complicated job. Like this, it's an extremely complicated job. It's a county, city job. And that'll be complete in June.
So he'll be assigned to this, not John Yakimic.
Bobby Graham, Bobby Graham is a resident engineer who he has specialized training to do these types of projects.
Okay,
This is a very specialized project.
I know.
Ms. Boswell, one other question. Obviously, the old bridge failed after 30 years, 25 years. Can you just reassure the residents that what do you expect the lifespan of this bridge to be before we run into problems either repairing or replacing?
Over 50 years, 60 years, 80 years. What happened with this bridge is the wrong material was selected by the original developer. As you probably know, Camp Glen Gray Road Bridge was the same bridge, and that was the one that a dump truck caused to fail, and it was a sudden failure. And for those of you who may recall, there was a bridge failure in Minnesota about 15, 20 years ago. So a sudden failure is not a good thing. A sudden failure is when basically that vehicle, which was a truck loaded with bank run to repair a septic system, was overloaded and put the bridge right into the river. And luckily nobody was hurt, but it was a sudden, what we would call a catastrophic failure. So that's the other part of what we were talking about, where we sent a letter to the borough on December 15th because we got back from the DOT's structural consultant, Michael Baker, that they went back out to re-rate the bridge after we performed the recommended repairs, to ask them to get to an 8 or 10 ton re-rating. They not only wouldn't increase the rating, but they narrowed the lane width down to 20 foot 4 inches, which effectively is a 1-lane bridge. So when that happened, we recommended to the borough last week that it take the necessary steps to accelerate the closure, and that's what you received on the 19th, was that closure would be accelerated by about 45 to 60 days, because with the onset of weather and frankly that we don't know when the next time that this structural engineer will get out there, that our paramount responsibility is to protect the public health. And so we took this course of action because we think it's necessary. We've been working with a very bad situation, and you get to a certain point where you just have to say enough is enough. And that's why we made the recommendation that we made.
Ms. Boswell, just a follow-up question. Obviously, some of the residents have been asking us how come if we make it 20 feet wide, why we can't plow the bridge. Can you expand on that? Why we can't do snow removal?
The road rating is 3 tons. That's frankly, it's less than an electric pickup that you could buy from Ford right now. And there are some vehicles, some regular large passenger vehicles that exceed that. When you have a plow, obviously on a dump truck, that's over 3 tons. Even on a pickup truck, many times you'll have de-icing systems on the back. So as soon as you start putting anything in the back of a pickup truck, you exceed that. And now you're pushing snow, and you push snow, and it becomes it's what we call dynamic loading. It's not a static condition anymore. So it is very, very ineffective to try to come up with a temporary snow removal system that will simply buy you another 45 days. And we're concerned that could do something beyond this 20-foot cordon area that could cause a failure of the bridge. And if and anything that you did like that, then you're going to have people asking very pointed questions about exactly what were you doing on the bridge, how much was that vehicle, what activities were you performing, And when you look at it, you just can't defend that you didn't have a vehicle over 3 tons. It's going to be over 3 tons. That's why.
One other question also, a couple residents asked me, will they still be able to walk across the bridge with their pets and exercise and everything else if the bridge is closed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. However, this is going to be a construction zone. So the contractor has control of the site. So when we close the bridge, that's no problem. It's much like, what was the bridge on, off of Lakeview Boulevard, Lakeside Boulevard? Huber Lake, it was right there, you had a pedestrian bridge over that. That's not a problem. The problem is that once you let this project out to the contractor and you issue notice to proceed, the contractor has control of this area. So it's a safety issue, it's a cost issue, and it is not set up as set up as a permanent closure where the contractor will have control of this area.
But until the contractor takes over?
It's going to be open.
Okay, thank you.
Does closing the bridge speed up the process a little bit or it would start at the same time?
Closing the bridge now could speed it up. I'm not gonna say it will speed it up because we have to wait to find out what the lead time is on the bridge,
Right.
on the actual bridge. And so it could, but I don't know that for sure.
And then have you, as Boswell, ever worked with this contractor before?
No.
No.
No, I've spoken to their attorneys, I've spoken to many contractors and people at the New Jersey we do a lot of work at the New Jersey Turnpike, and we've spoken to a lot of people there, the DOT, I mean, even, they're a bridge contractor, so it's a very closed community.
Yeah, it's frustrating with the lowest bid. I mean, I'm in, construction and oftentimes I'm the lowest bidder. People look at you like, and sometimes you win the bid and you wonder why. Why am I the lowest bidder? And that's why you made the phone call. And that's we just have to be on top of them, and they meet all the benchmarks, and we go from there.
I could tell you, we bid it on 11/21, on November 21st, it's December 20th. We spent the last month vetting this contractor. We would have been here at the last meeting, but we didn't feel comfortable. And that's why we're making the recommendation now. We spent hours and hours vetting this contractor.
Okay, thank you.
Next item, Ellerman Brook. We had a completion date of 12/29, and it still may be 12/29. If it's not, it's going to be the following week. It's within that very short period of time. And following the storm that we just experienced, there was additional damage on Allerman. And I will compliment Roy Balberger. He's an unbelievable asset for the borough. And we were out meeting with him. We were meeting on Glen Gray Road because, as you know, that was submerged. And it's a separate issue that the borough, the county, and the township of Mawa are all collaborating to jointly fix the bridge as well as the road approaches on either side. So that work's being done now by the borough and Mawa, and then the county is actually going onto the bridge tomorrow and coordinating the bridge part. The county owns the bridge, the county owns a portion of the approaches, but Mawa and Oakland, historically, they take the lead on the approaches. We did the same thing on Bear Swamp Road, further up in Mawa. Had the same type of thing happen with Ida, where we had to go and we had to rebuild Bear Swamp Road on the west side of that bridge, right after the storm. So this isn't new. It happens It's temporary. But getting back to Allerman, today, I was talking to Mr. Kunz about it, about declaring an emergency, which frankly makes it easier to get it all done. And the problem is that this was not declared a federal emergency. And so you don't qualify for FEMA. If you did qualify for FEMA, you'd also qualify for emergency permitting, which you didn't. And you do have a damage to Allerman further east now, up by 202, and we're going out with Mr. Valberger again early next week to go over that. So I don't think we're going to be able to get that into the work further down, because we want to get the other work in and get it permitted as quickly as possible. But you have other damage on Allerman having nothing to do with the current damaged area. It's, as you know, it's sand, it's very erodible soils, and talking too much, I'm sorry, but.
Anything
you know,
else?
Just one question, if possible, with Glenn Gray. Do you expect that we're probably going to get the green light tomorrow to use that, since we're in the process of shutting down?
Yeah, unless they find something in the structure of the bridge, it'll be open tomorrow, it'll be fine. The problem is you have trees that get washed down the river, and they go into the supporting members of the bridge, and you don't know for sure until you're under it, and the water hadn't receded enough to make that inspection. So as soon as we do that, we can open the bridge. We're fine.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I confess, Mayor, you were talking about the park, and I don't have a report on that.
Okay.
I was working on these other things.
Thank you. All right, is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you wish us to come up to the podium.
Hello,
You have to give your name and address.
understood. Adam Elkin, 21-year resident, an RML hostage, 147 Lakeshore Drive. I've reached out to all the council members individually, and I'm here tonight to urge the town's inclusion in deciding the fate of Mirror and Crystal Lakes. I fully understand
I'm
and
sorry, what did
appreciate
you, deciding?
the fate of Mirror
Fate,
and
I'm
Crystal
sorry, I
Lakes.
apologize.
No, no worries. I fully understand and appreciate Oakland's historical position as it relates to Ramapo Mountain Lakes, or RML, but I'm hoping a New Jersey court opinion delivered earlier this month will change that position. The court's opinion provides RML approvals to divest of their properties, including Crystal and Mirror Lakes. This really presents an incredible opportunity for Oakland. Lakefront homeowners, ecology lovers, beachgoers, passionate members of our community are united in the desire to preserve our incredible lake assets and protect them from damage and development. To this end, a grassroots delegation is already working actively with RML to find options for taking ownership of the lake properties. Ideally, we can find a solution which would preserve and maintain the lakes, cover taxes for common grounds, and manage recreational insurance costs through homeowner and club operation partnerships. We would love to explore opportunities that include the town. We view the court's decision as the long-awaited chance to solidify our lakes as the treasure they are for all of Oakland. This could facilitate the immediate establishment of a town swim club at little to no cost, and the ability to leverage the lakes and their common properties for broader community enhancement. The beach club and boat launch could support not only a swim club, but summer camps, school trips, ecological and historical education activities, recreational swim teams, swimming and boating lessons, and much, much more. We need to stop busing and driving our kids to Mahwah, Ramsey, Wyckoff, and Ringwood. We have the best recreational spot right here already. These properties could also support the ecological and environmental organizations in town by providing a dedicated meeting home and event space. The end of RML as the custodian of our lakes jeopardizes the future of our invaluable natural spaces and waterways at a time where increased development and storm runoff concerns are already straining the town. Let's jump on the chance and work together to protect these critical spaces while enriching the community. Ultimately, a major disturbance to the lakes and underlying aquifers would have a terribly adverse effect on our entire community, as well as the broader appeal and beauty of Oakland in general. This loss would have devastating impact on lakefront home values, as well as some impact to the property values in the immediate surrounding areas. It would also mean the elimination of true town gems, which have drawn families to Oakland for almost a century and have created memories for generations. If we're unable to quickly find viable solutions, RML is set to sell the lakes and properties to any bidder. At best, this will result in fully privatized spaces with no options for public use, but more likely in the development of the land to the fullest possible extent. The concerned community is anxious to begin this dialogue before it's too late, and we believe our town must be a part of this solution. We can absolutely leverage this amazing twist of fate to our benefit and the town's benefit. Having RML removed from the picture opens up so many possibilities for Oakland, and we all want to do our part to ensure we can hold on to these critical waterways. And I know there are lots of others here that support this. And we'd like the town to be involved in these dialogues and help us bring this to a solution and an end, because it's heading in a really bad direction for those of us that live in the RML areas, but more broadly, Oakland in general. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank Bertacco, 51 Lakeshore Drive. I'm also here to lend my voice in regards to what Adam just spoke very eloquently about. I don't have anything prepared, so I'll be brief. First of all, I want to say thank you to the mayor and council. Thank you especially to the mayor for your many years of service to this town, and really appreciate it, and happy holidays to everyone here. So I've lived in Oakland since 1998, raising my family here. I've lived on Lakeshore Drive, lakefront homeowner since 2011. And we all know, I don't have to reiterate what's been going on for the past great number of years, but there's been a lot of lawsuits going on, a lot of hostility, anger, a lot of emotion, and kind of, as Adam just said, we're all, I think, very hopeful that maybe this last lawsuit ending provides a great opportunity for the lakefront homeowners and RML and hopefully the town as well to sort of come to an agreement and find some path forward to help manage these lakes, take care of these lakes, not just for the lakefront homeowners, but for the whole town. As I said, I lived in Oakland for a long time. Always wanted to get a spot on the lake. The lake is beautiful. It's an incredible asset to this town and the community, not just the lakefront homeowners. It's ecologically very important to the area. I don't have enough time here to list all the species of birds that I track from my window and from my backyard. It's a beautiful space, and it's very, very useful to the town. And as you all well know, it's also where a ton of the town's stormwater goes in a rainstorm, right? We have a dam that needs to be fixed, and the dam is impacted over and over and over again by storms because the lake serves more or less as a utility for the town, right? It is a basin that collects a huge amount of rainwater, and it's consistently impacted by storms. So I guess what I'm saying is that I'm hoping that the town will hear the voices of the lakefront homeowners. Now that these lawsuits are settled, and as Adam already mentioned, a bunch of us have gotten together, forward-looking, hopefully not looking backward too much, no longer bickering about what may or may not have happened in the past, and trying to find a path forward. And we're really going to need to continue coming to these meetings and continue asking the town for help. We're not going to be able to do this easily. We've got a couple of options that may work in terms of finding new ways to manage the lake, whether RML may dissolve completely or de-annex certain shareholders, or whether we have to form our own HOA. We don't know which is the best path forward. We don't know what will be legally feasible, financially feasible, but we will certainly need the town's help in this regard. So I'm really only here to ask to raise my voice to
raise awareness. I'm sure you already have a lot of awareness, but I think the good news is there's a lot of Lakeshore Drive residents here and Mirror Lake residents here, hopefully as well, so that we can ask for your help, and we will be asking the mayor and council for more help in the future. So thank you all very much, and thank you again, Mayor Schrader.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good evening. Alice Homer, 4 Riverdale, Oakland. I agree with you, Mayor, that Oakland is a wonderful community. We lived in Norwood for 30 years. We're only here 4 years, but we really love the town, and we have been very blessed. I'm here to appeal to your holiday spirit. Shortly after we moved to Ramapo River Reserve, we heard about the issue with the bridge. We had been attending different meetings. Then COVID hit, we couldn't have the open meetings. Yes, there's a problem, and I appreciate that there's going to be a new bridge. We were notified last night with your letter via email that the bridge is going to be closed tomorrow, 4 days before Christmas. And this is why I'm appealing to your holiday spirit. I watched from my window today large trucks passing over the bridge. They're not supposed to, but they are. School buses have been going back and forth. I have reported that to our representative in the office. But please, could you wait until another week? There's no forecast of snow in the next 10 days. So you're talking about not the possibility of snow removal. There's going to be no snowstorms in the next 10 days. So could you please just let the residents have the bridge open for another week? Personally, we have relatives coming from out of the area who have never come to our house. So they are going to be clueless. I noticed today, going down to Glen Gray, that they finally did some repairs. You've known about this for months, that the bridge was going to have to be closed. And today, there was some work being done on that Glen Gray area. I also, coming home from some errands today, I'm not that familiar with a lot of the roads in town, but I did turn onto, I believe it's Navajo, where the detour sign is. You need to have more signs to show people the way to get into our development. I was completely baffled, and I wound up going back onto 202. So I'm just appealing. Could you just hold off another week? I would appreciate it.
Got up before and I got cut.
Trudy Derbyshire, 181 Lakeshore Drive. And I have 2 things now that this young lady came up and spoke about. One, with the bridge repair, you're going to have people detouring down Navajo onto Lakeshore. Okay, and if anybody is aware, that's a very dangerous area. If you drive down Lakeshore or up Lakeshore, and if anybody's parked on the street, you can't see. Cars come up this way, cars go that way. I mean, there will be an accident. I mean, that's got to be monitored better, and you've got to take a look at this whole thing. On to our Crystal Lake. Adam, you were fabulous, and you brought up a lot of wonderful points. You're talking about Ellerman Brook and repairing Ellerman Brook. You repair Ellerman Brook, it just flows into Crystal Lake so much faster, which helps us to flood so much quicker. Ellerman Brook is the town. The town comes into our lake. We need help. They talk about doing an HOA, but the majority or a good portion of the people on Lakeshore Drive, myself included, are senior citizens, fixed income. We can't pay a lot of money out. And the other thing is, they just raised our dues, RML, from $500 and some dollars a year to $1,297 a year. And we have to pay all this money now. What's it going to be next year? I don't know. They're talking about possibly putting on a dock fee because we have lakefront property. So we have this beauty. Well, the other day we were in the lake. We didn't have lakefront property. And we could use some of this money to repair the damage that we get to our house, our homes, our yards, because insurance does not pay for it all, not by a long shot. We do need help from the town. Crystal Lake is a fabulous asset. So many people have taken their children there. The kids that have grown up, moved away, still around, whatever. Fabulous memories. You can open it up to the children, to the rec center. I mean, don't lose this asset to these people that want to dissolve everything. And we need help. Thank you. And good luck.
Hi, Jordan Kushner, 31 Winding Ridge. Just a couple of questions about the bridge, not to rehash things, but has the county really signed on to accepting ownership of the bridge after it's completed? And
No.
does that impact, or is that going to be our problem still? I don't know if the builder matters or if they have a say in the who's the contractor or whatever, but that's something I don't think the town can handle in the future, is another one of these fiascos. Is there any warranty or guarantees from the builder for things that go wrong with the bridge in the future? Any recourse that we have with deficiencies in the bridge that we don't know now in the future? Is there any recourse for the town? I don't know bidding law or anything close to that, but do we have to accept the lowest bidder? And what are the situations for forcing us to accept the lowest bidder? About the timeline, I know the utilities are, they're a major complexity to the overall project, and that you have to remove them, put them somewhere else, and then bring them back. But to get the bridge back open sooner, once the bridge is in place, can the bridge be reopened while the utilities are being put back onto the bridge? I don't know if that can be done with the current design. And this is the least important, and I saved it for last because it is the least important. I moved here 3 years ago. I haven't seen a rendering of the bridge, the new bridge that's going to be going in. Is there a pedestrian pathway for it? Is it going to be the same looking bridge? Trust me, I don't want to go back to the drawing board just because it looks ugly. We'll take it however it is, but it would be nice to sort of see what it looks like. Thank you.
John Comer, 4 Riverdale, Oakland, Jersey. Enjoy your retirement from the making. On this bridge, I just have a few questions. One, I know we talked about reducing it down to 20 foot wide. It's very tight for 2 cars. But I think the other 2 entrance points are no wider than 20 feet to get in. I don't know if you can pass 2 cars up by Glen and Gray or not. I think it's only 1 lane there, but it's going to be kind of tight. I think there's going to be issues that'll be coming up along there. The other thing is, now that we're saving some money, if we had to improve those other 2 entrances, and we would be doing it for the bridge replacement. We do have some dollars there that could possibly be spent to make those comfortable enough where 2 cars could fit through there. Just an idea.
Except when grant money is given, it's very specific, bureaucracy and government and laws and.
Oh, yeah, but
So you know.
I think it'd be a good sell to try to convince them that, this is a temporary road system, we're trying to make it safe in order to replace the bridge. 21 months is the construction time. Now, you're going to approve the contract tonight, but that but then the contract's gonna be developed. It's not ready to be signed, and we're off and running, are we? In other words, if the mayor and council says, yes, we're gonna use this contractor, you're then gonna go and complete the contract.
An attorney for the borough
Right.
would draft and forward a contract that is based on the bid documents
Okay.
as quickly as possible.
So the 21 months is from when the contract gets finally signed, I assume?
From notice to proceed.
Right, so that could be
It could
a
be
few more months,
Well, it's going to be within 30 days.
30 days, okay. The utilities, is there any issue when they relocate these utilities and put them in their ultimate location? Do we have costs incurred from the utility companies to do any of this work, or is the contractor doing it all?
That's a good
At their
question.
direction?
You could have a cost from the utility directly to move the utilities a second time.
Right.
Our
So,
position is that you will not, but the utility must agree.
right.
And we have those requests in, have had them in for
Right.
over a year.
So there may be a cost involved, something like that. And just the last thing, I would just say, whether you gave it to the lowest bidder or the middle bidder, there's gonna be extras, no matter what. So to think that you're gonna sign a contract and there's not gonna be any extras, I'm speaking from experience, I've never seen it happen. Thank you.
You're at the end of the line now?
Carrie Serenides, 41 Sioux Avenue. So last Sunday, we held our second annual Access for All Santa on a Fire Truck event. We had an amazing turnout with roughly 40-ish people of all ages. It was our largest turnout so far for this event, and we would be remiss if we didn't take this opportunity to thank everyone that helped make this event happen. An extra big thank you to our phenomenal Santa, Frank DePentima. Sorry. Santa's helper, Frank. We want to also thank APL for their donation of the tree. It just made this event extra special. Thank you to Public Events, and especially Danny and Mame, who stayed with us the whole day. In fact, we got to the Danny D building and there wasn't enough tables set up, so Danny ran home and got 3 of his own tables and brought them down for us. So he came to our rescue. The Mothers Club of Oakland for all their food donations and access to the coffee and hot chocolate at the rec stand. Tony at the Oakland Elks for his delicious homemade cookies where we were hoarding. We were like, no, don't take those are really bad. But they were so good, and I keep begging him for the recipe, and he will not give it to me. And of course, all the Access for All volunteers, as well as our high school volunteer, Emily, from Oakland's Rempo Indian Hills Interact Club. We would never be able to do these events without all the help we receive from so many committees, so many clubs, and so many people in this amazing town. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Hi, my name is Liz Carletta, 161 Lakeshore Drive. I'm here to reiterate what you've heard already about, I don't really know what to call it, the winding down of RML, whatever ends up happening to that organization. I agree with what I've heard already tonight, and I just want to make sure that all of you are aware that the number of people in this room tonight coming on behalf of this situation is actually much lower than the number of people who showed up Monday night after a day of flooding to a meeting that we had, during dinner time on a weeknight kind of thing. The residents of that area, both Mirror Lake, Crystal Lake, and the area around Crystal Lake, we're not all lakefront homeowners in that group, are really concerned about everything that's been happening, and I kind of want to combine everything I've heard already. It is both an opportunity for Oakland and also a responsibility of Oakland to come together with, RML or what's left, whatever's happening with that, the residents of the area that are concerned. I live directly across, I do live lakefront, I'm directly across from Alderman Brook. There's a beer keg in my backyard. There's a tree in my backyard that didn't come from my backyard. When we get this flooding, I get about 2 feet of water in my backyard every time. I'm directly across from that stream. Last year, the tree was about 20, 30 feet out in the lake, and a bunch of my neighbors helped me try to remove it from the lake so that me and my kids and my dog didn't get caught in it while swimming, right? Like, and have some bad accident. We weren't able to do so, but I think that that's the tree that's now in my yard. So now I'm gonna have to drag it out, right? Like, cut it up somehow and drag it out to the curb on my own. It's worse and worse each time. Thankfully, my house is elevated a bit, so it only got up to like the second step of my back porch, not into our house. It did get in our garage a little bit, but it is, I moved here for a reason, right? When I moved to Oakland in 2011, I lived on Rockaway Ave, and like you said it, actually, when I got the chance to buy a house on the lake, I moved to Rockaway so I could walk to the beach club, right, with my kayak, dragging it behind me. And use the lake. It's a beautiful resource. Mirror Lake is beautiful. I went out there and did water samples last year just as a volunteer for RML. It needs some help, right? But it's a beautiful place. And again, it's a large portion of Oakland. It's not just people who live within RML, and 287, right? It's beyond Oakland as well. I understand that. But that runoff is contributing to the beer keg and all the other garbage in my backyard. That was not my beer keg, and I don't think there's any left in it either. So it's not like it was a good beer keg showing up, right? And things that, like, seriously we need to take care of. But there is an opportunity for Oakland to benefit from getting involved in this. And I haven't sent my email yet to mayor and council, but I will do so tomorrow. Please realize there's a lot of us really concerned about this and really hopeful that you will get involved to help us out.
Good luck.
Thank you, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Ann Cedar, 33 Winding Ridge. Mayor, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We wish you well. I obviously have questions about the Patriots Way Bridge. The one question I have is the original budget that we were told kept increasing, and it went up to $9 million. The contractor is going to get 4.7. How much is the bridge itself? I know that's coming from a separate entity. How much is the bridge going to be itself cost, and whatever materials are needed for that part of the job, and how close are we getting to the entire $9 million? That's one question. Second question is, if this bidder is the only one with a unique idea for the utilities, he's the only one that came up with it, the rest of them are going to do the same thing, then what is the backup plan if his plan for the moving the utilities doesn't work? And what is the plan for, I guess as part of that backup plan, it's going to cost money, and how much more is it going to cost us for plan B, I guess? My other question is, I know the timeline is 21 months, but I'd like to know what a breakdown of the timeline. So once the contract is signed, whether that's 30 days or whatever, and the first day that they're on the job, what happens first? The utilities get moved. Technically, if the bridge weren't getting closed, how long would it have been open before? And then, like, what is the time frame for when the utilities get moved, the bridge gets put in, the utilities get moved back, and then the bridge is going to be usable again at any point in that time frame? And the reason I want to know that, but the second reason I'm asking that question is because if the bridge itself wasn't going to be closed originally for, I think you said something about a 45-day window, but it doesn't sound like that was the real window. But if the bridge wasn't originally going to be closed right away, then my question is now, why can't we do a one-way on the bridge to use it until the bridge would have originally been closed as part of the entire process, right? And the reason I ask that is because the 20-foot base or whatever, I forgot what you called it, that would allow a one lane in and out, and that would give us another entrance and exit aside from the two from Glen Gray and Truman. So the question is, why can't we do that one way in, one way out? I understand the snow plows, but bridges can be closed for weather. I mean, that's not hard to do. Or even if we had to close it for a month or two and then open it again after winter, I don't know, like the logistics. I just want to know why we can't do a one lane. I did have one more question. I was curious why the repairs, I know they were done, the repairs that were done recently were done per the DOT, but I was curious why, if the repairs were recommended for the specific purpose of raising the tonnage, why it had the opposite effect, and what was the point of doing that then and spending the money on it if it had the opposite effect. So I'd like to know about that. And the other question and the last question I have is, I understand that there is going to be somebody from Boswell overseeing the project. So correct me if I'm wrong, but in the event that Boswell is no longer the town engineer, what happens with that? Are we going to be able to continue with the project the way it has been bid on, the way the contract is going to be signed? What's going to happen with that? Thank you.
Hi, Jody Gafredo, 44 Sioux Avenue, Tursloff. Thank you, Mayor, for your 12 years of service. It's been a pleasure to work alongside of you with Access for All and Grant and Ben Act.
Thank you.
Thank you. Secondly, I attended the Bergen County Utilities Authority meeting last night with a bunch of other people that came, and 2 councilmen that attended. It's a long, lengthy process until, it gets approved or disapproved, and I don't feel confident that it's not going to happen, but I don't know. I don't. None of us know. But I think it's important that if it does get approved, that the town is looking at things to protect the residents, ordinances that'll protect the residents, such as Dearborn, Michigan just created first of its kind dust ordinance. I think we could piggyback off of that and look at that and see if we can do that to protect the residents. Just an idea.
Thank you for attending.
You're welcome. My pleasure. So I think after December 28th is really key to attending the Utility Authorities meeting as well as the Commissioners meeting up at One Bergen County Plaza. So, thank you.
But then it goes up to the DEP.
DEP eventually, and then back to the Commissioners, and
it's going to be a very long process.
Yeah, very long process, but who knows? But I think we should start looking at ways to protect the residents now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex Trelecki. I live on Navajo, so.
I'm sorry.
My name is Alex Trelecki. I live on Navajo, 8 Navajo.
Navajo.
I understand your pain. Yes, that's my hill. And I guess there's gonna be more traffic now, right? That we should be expecting around the tight curves of Lakeshore and up the downgrades of Lakeshore, up the steep grade that everyone seems to feel the need to gain
And the
speed
stop
to get
sign.
up of. That nobody stops at. Yes, that stop sign. That's a pleasure. Even school buses full of children, they seem to wing it. I mean, it's magical. Regarding the Lakeshore issue, Allerman Brook, that has been a borough project, right? So how is it the Lake Borough project? That'd be like saying, we're gonna take care of the arm but not the hand, right? They're physically, geographically attached. These lake communities have been suffering. And with all due respect, 287 is a federal interstate highway. Parts of 202, if not all 2, is a county road. Then we have borough roads. All this runoff, right, is creating deterioration of both lakes. I'm a little confused how the borough could disassociate itself, say these are private lakes, but we're going to add to the deterioration of them. But we're going to hold private residents responsible. With all due respect, too, RML is about 1/3 of this town. Those are your constituents, right? 1/3 of your constituents are angry at the world. I just feel it's up to this town council to take some action to help remediate the situation. You're the only mayor I've known too, so I'm sorry. All right? Good luck with the future.
Hi, my name is Patty Shank, 135 Lakeshore Drive, here supporting our neighbors with the lake. I'm not going to go into details with you, well, you've all heard it, so just again, just want to hope that everyone would help us, support us. We all love the lake, we love where we live, we love the town, and we think it would be a benefit. As far as the traffic, the other night, we were trying to go to a meeting, and my husband, it took us 20 minutes to get out of our driveway because a tractor trailer could not maneuver through the street. So we please implore you to look at the traffic that's going to come through there. There's children, people, there's a speed limit of 25, nobody adheres to it. They drive through there so quickly and with all that traffic. And my other concern is at some point, the Lenape Bridge with all that traffic going through, I don't know what's going to happen with that. So, thank you.
I know that.
Thank you.
Adam Elkin, 147 Lakeshore Drive. First, I was very remiss in not thanking you, Mayor, for the 12 years of service. It's been a delight. It just occurs to me as we're listening to all of this, the key word that came up is responsibility. The town has a responsibility here. We're talking about replacing a bridge that's costing the taxpayers $8+ million in Oakland, $4+ million in Oakland with grants, whatever it might be. This was a developer that left the town high and dry and stuck with a bridge that broke in a matter of years. Very few of us in town actually use that bridge, but we're all paying for it because it's part of our civic duty and it's part of what we do for our neighbors. At the same time we're doing this town continues to allow the Mirror Lake and Crystal Lake to be the dumping grounds for everything that we're doing. You know, we're redirecting traffic around Lakeshore Drive and up Navajo. Where's all that oil going? Where's all that rubber going? Where's all that runoff going? Right into Crystal Lake. Do construction, repaving up on 202. Where's all that debris going? Where's all that runoff going? Right down into Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake and Mirror Lake have been providing this town a service without maintenance for over 100 years. To completely fix the entire ecosystem is a fraction of the cost of this bridge. And yet the town continues to indicate it has no responsibility. While it continues to drop storm runoff directly in, why silt from all of our streets drops into the lakes and fills them, why they become mosquito ridden because the town, for whatever reason, stopped feeling obligated to dredging the lakes under the mosquito control program. Thankfully, Allerman is being addressed. Thank you. We've been begging, and it literally took disasters to get any attention there. And the attention we're getting in comparison to other projects in town is nothing. It's nothing. We deserve, after literally 100 years of supporting the town's runoff and doing our best to keep that lake system healthy and clean and usable, we deserve the help. And the town should feel a responsibility to offer that help because it isn't just ours, it's all of ours, and we've all used it, whether we like it or not. I hear many people saying, I didn't even know that lake was there. Why should I have any responsibility for it? Well, I guarantee you, it's a good chance that all the rain landing in your yard going down that sewer is going right into that lake and contributing to that damage. We all have a responsibility to the assets in our town. And just like the bridge, we all bear responsibility for making sure they work to the best ability of our community. Not one part, not another part, not one HOA versus another HOA. We deserve that as your constituents, and we deserve to be heard, and we need your involvement in getting this resolved, because if you're really not paying attention, what is about to happen is those lands are going to be offloaded. At minimum, Mirror Lake is going to be drained. There's a great possibility Crystal Lake will be lowered indefinitely. We need help. We need the town to come to the table with us, to come to a resolution that works for everybody. The people that live there want to maintain it, they want to pay for it. We want to do our part to keep it there for all of Oakland, but we need your help. Please help us, please.
No one else? The motion to close?
So moved.
Oh, do you want to speak?
Yeah, just.
Go ahead, good.
Kevin Gallo, 1 Pool Hollow Road here in Oakland. Just want to say thank you, Mayor, for your service and good luck with the future. I just want to say thank you to the councilman that went to the BCUA meeting. I wasn't able to attend last night, but I went to the one last month. I just want to reiterate how big of a deal this is. I know you guys, it's a broken record at this point, but I am frankly terrified of this passing. I think I just want to emphasize, people mention things like wildlife and, this is a health. I firmly believe if this goes in place, there's children that play in the neighborhood, the dust that it's going to cause, the pollution. We're talking about like human lives here. Like this could be causing cancer to our children and it's a big deal. We're literally talking almost life and death. It's not a joke. It needs to be taken very, very seriously. I don't even want to think about a scenario where this actually passes. I'm thinking about how long it's going to take to stop this. I can't really wrap my head around how something that's not zoned for that use is ever going to, how does something go from being not zoned for a particular use? When I purchased my house right next to that industrial park, I grew up in Oakland, I've been here my whole life, I'm very familiar with the area. It was never on the table that there could be a dump put next to my house. That wasn't there. I pay more and more taxes every year, exorbitant taxes, $12,000, whatever. It's absurd that this is even, that I have to worry about this, that I'd be losing sleep at night. I don't know how much longer it's gonna go on, but just with this many people here, at least if anyone's not aware of what's happening, they're trying to put a dump, over on West Oakland Ave. It's a fiasco. We need to stop it. I don't know what else to say about it, but I put the sign up. Thank you for providing the signs.
We have I have more signs in my office if you want anybody.
Awesome, great, thank you. Yeah,
Come and get it.
And that's awesome. I put a website up, don'tdumponoakland.com, just to put up whatever new news and articles that come out for more information, action steps that we can take. I don't know. I'm just here just to plead that if there's anything we could possibly do to stop this, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute
I'm
nightmare.
sure this council will continue the fight next year.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that it's looking like we're going in the right direction. But again, it's just a lot of unknown. I'm personally scared. I'm scared for my future, for our children's future, for the neighborhood.
Well, just know that there are people working with you to fight it.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for any time that's spent to further that. I just had to come up and say something. I'm just kind of
glad you did.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Now is the motion closed? No one else?
So,
Motion closed.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Minutes, December 6th. Your motion?
So moved. Second.
Any additions, deletions? None? Roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
McCann? Dignatelli?
Not here.
Saliani?
Yes.
Slasinski?
Yes.
Talamini?
Abstain.
There is executive session minutes from December 6th. If there are going to be any changes or discussion, it must be done during executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
All right, and roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Slasinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Abstain.
There's a presentation of the rec commission. I don't know what this is.
You're on.
There's 5 of us here, rec commission. The other 4 are in season right now. Wendy, can I move this, or is this? Like kind of everybody's talking over this. Yeah. Thank you. Mayor, you want to come on down?
Oh.
Please, please, please. You guys can come closer.
Mike, you want me to put a reference?
Yeah, they thought they had to get in line. Oh, okay. Mayor, when you first came in, Mayor, Recreation was a mess, an absolute mess. There was half the commission was full, they couldn't get enough commissioners to fill in. There was threats of a patronage job coming in and taking over the recreation if you were standing with the commission. Don't cry, don't cry. But after you won, you gave me a phone call at Thursday night. I was like, my wife, I said, Mayor's summoning me. So he called me to your office, he said, Mike, I want you to stay on, I want you to come back to the commission. And I'd like you to be chair. You want to know who, no, we need to fill the seats in, who can we get? So we spent the whole morning vetting people out. And one thing you said, you wanted the female sports programs to be equal to the male program. So we brought in Dan to run the softball. Dan did a phenomenal job. He's one of your first, me and him, one of the first choices. We spent the rest of the morning just vetting out everybody, vetting the different commissioners. Steve was also one of your first appointments too. And so after we set things up, you and I, people don't realize, we had a lot of Friday morning breakfasts. Like almost the first couple of years, like every Friday morning we were meeting, you want to know what's going on. You weren't directing, but you want to know what was going on because rec was such a mess at one time, and how we can, what we're doing to fix it, and we appreciate that. I mean, I always kept you in the loop, even after those breakfasts stopped. We always kept you in the loop for 12 years, so you knew exactly what was going on and how to handle it. The biggest thing is that as the commission, is your loyalty to the commission, your loyalty to recreation. That's huge. I mean, and it wasn't blind loyalty. I mean, at times you called me up and said, Mike, what's going on? People calling you, and I would explain and say, Mike, come to my office. I come to your office. And we explained what was going on. You may not agree with us at all times, but what we did was, we didn't do anything egregious, but what we did, we sometimes, I always say, we go to bed at night, we slept, we know we did the right thing. And you always were there, and at no time did you ever embarrass us. Did you ever disrespect us? Did you ever berate us? We always knew where you stood. You didn't play two sides of it. It was basically, this is where you stood, and we absolutely appreciated that. And you always defended us in public. And just a real quick story about defending us in public, which politicians don't always do, because they always kind of throw people on the bus to protect themselves. But one time there was a council meeting, and someone got up here, it wasn't here, it was over at the other building, a few years back, who had all the facts wrong, and all the stories wrong, and went on with a diatribe for about 10 minutes. But when he was done, you told him he was wrong, and you defended us in public. It was absolutely, you have no idea, when you have that kind of loyalty, that loyalty it's invaluable. And you're loyal to us, so that's why, we're always loyal to you. And we really do appreciate it. We really want to say thank you for everything you've done for the commission, for you've done for the recreation community, for the parents, for the families. And we'd like to present you with this. And Dan's going to read what's on this plaque here. This is,
Mike's gonna hold this up, just so everybody can see it.
you guys, yeah.
You know what? Your Recreation Commission says, thank you, Mayor Linda Schwager. I tell you what, let me put my glasses on. I know, but I don't want to go with it. Your confidence, loyalty, trust, and leadership helped successfully guide the commission for the past 12 years. Some of the most notable recreation accomplishments while you were mayor were installation of the recreation walking path, new recreation complex lights, seeing the building of the Great Oak Park from start to finish, rebuilding the roller rink, refurbishment of the football, baseball, and Truman fields, an unprecedented growth and balance of boys and girls sports programs, and last but not least, always throwing a strike at the baseball and softball parade. The commission thanks you, Mayor, for a job well done.
And there's a collage of pictures, I don't know if everybody can see. And we purposely put these two pictures here. This is your first parade, that's Dan, and your last parade, that's this last year with us. You always tell where they are in the pictures, because Dan and I have been from the beginning. You can tell by how dark our hair is or how white our hair is.
Straight, short girl.
Yeah, exactly. So, Mayor, thank you very much. Recreation thanks you very much. We look forward to working with the next group. But we thank you very much for everything. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a nice photo up here.
Thank you.
You're all welcome. Thank you for everything.
Come here.
You're standing in the middle.
As I'm crying.
That's a beautiful plaque.
How do I do this?
There we go. Big smiles, everybody.
Here we got flowers. Cass is trying to tell you about how to mess up.
You know, I've been hearing about all this forever.
Beautiful. Thank you. I can't say anything because I'm too emotional. But I will still work with the Mothers Club, which I've been doing at the rec stand. You'll see me down there. I will still be helping all the children as much as I can. You know that.
You want to coach?
No.
I
I wouldn't be a good coach. Thank you. I love rec. I love the children. I love everything I did to help improve rec. But you forgot the exercising machines on the rec.
Yeah.
I saw that one year at the League of Municipality. They had these equipment, outdoor equipment for parks. And I grabbed DPW. I grabbed Anthony. I said, if you go on and try, we get a discount. So we did, and that's on the walking path, all because we try, the exercise machines. But I always think about rec, the children. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that was the presentation. And now we have a presentation on complete streets.
Thank you.
Can you top that?
There's a lot going on. Yeah, I should be able to turn it. I should be able to turn it back on. It worked.
Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
It took a few minutes to get it going. So thank you everyone thanks for the invite to come here. I'm going to tell you a bit about a project we did here last year. My name's Peter Bilton. I work with the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority. And we have a program called Complete Streets Technical Assistance that the borough participated in and completed this project last year to help you develop a draft Complete Streets policy that I hope you'll consider adopting as an ordinance in the coming year. So I'm going to tell you very briefly about what we're about and then tell you about what we heard when we came out and talked to the community in the fall of 2022, and then how we work with the borough to develop the draft policy. But first, I'm going to tell you what Complete Streets is too. So the NJTPA is a regional agency. We kind of sit between the state and the county and help to program federal money that goes towards transportation and help to prioritize that. But we also fund a lot of planning studies at the county and local level. And we're run by a board that's made up of county commissioners, and Newark and Jersey City have a special seat on our board, as well as the governor's office and the state DOT and folks like that. So Complete Streets, put it simply, Complete Streets is an approach to managing the road transportation system, so that whenever you're making a change, you're considering the needs of all possible users. You're considering drivers, you're considering people who might be walking there or biking there, people who are dropping things off and making deliveries. And so it's setting in place a policy, so it's not a design and it's not a law, it's an approach to setting in place a policy that you're looking at all those needs so that you can improve over time the safety and accommodation for folks who may not have been well addressed in the past. So particularly people walking and or people biking. But it's not the same thing for everybody, right? So it depends on what your goals are in your town and what type of character of the town you have. there's lots of different benefits, and different ones matter to different people, right? Traffic safety is a big part of it. But also, if the streets are safer to walk on, if you help to address some concerns about drivers speeding, or maybe lack of crosswalks where there's a corner where there's a crossing but there's no painted crosswalk, then more kids could bike to school or bike to sports, or walk to school or walk to sports, or more folks might get out for physical activity and exercise walking in their neighborhood, or to get to a shopping center. Now, this is a statewide approach. It's a national approach, so it might be different for what matters in your town. But also places that are nicer to walk in and easier to get to are also good places to shop and attractive places to go. So there's also an economic development benefit too. The state's had a policy since 2009, and they encourage the state Department of Transportation, and they've been working with their partners to encourage towns and counties to adopt policies as well. Most of these policies to date have been resolutions, not ordinances. But they have included a checkbox for complete streets policies, giving extra points for certain grant applications, and it's also something that earns towns points on Sustainable Jersey, and I believe you folks participate in Sustainable Jersey program, and they're actually one of our partners on the on this project that we did with you. So in 2022, we worked with a small committee of borough staff, elected officials, and residents to talk about what's in a policy, a potential policy for the borough, and then to hear from residents. We went, and thank you for the warm welcome, to talk with residents in the trunk or treat event right outside here. And then so I want to tell you what we heard at the trunk or treat. And then we put all that together into a final report that has the draft policy that looks at the current municipal codes and regulations and makes recommendations for how those might need to be revised in the future to be in line with this approach, to always considering multiple user needs and the results of the outreach. So at the trunk or treat event, we asked folks about their biggest concerns for walking and biking. As you can see here, people are interested in both recreational bicycling opportunities like parks and park trails, and also biking on the road and making that safer. And in terms of walking, sidewalks that weren't continuous were a concern for folks, where there were sidewalks that started and stopped, and lighting and pedestrian lighting. When we asked about drivers, some of the same things we heard here tonight, right? Drivers who are speeding or not stopping or yielding for pedestrians, or not driving safely around people who are also walking on the same road, and also concern from residents about distracted driving. We also heard specific concerns which we put in our report to you, like the left from Long Hill onto 202. We heard that like about 10 times. In terms of, we asked folks what they might like to see more of, and they talked about sidewalks and trails, as well as green stormwater infrastructure like rain gardens that could help capture the stormwater runoff, to be included when streets get redesigned or improved, or just as part of a stormwater management system. So I want to kind of orient you towards what's in the policy and just kind of how everything fits together. And then I'll take some questions. And you already have a draft to work with. We sat down towards the end of the project with Mr. Coons and kind of walked through how it all fits together. So I think we've got a good base to start from. There's a resolution that defines the goals and the types of projects that would be covered under this. And this is based on a statewide guide for creating a complete and green streets policy. So we use that to start with. Part of having a policy in place is having a resident body to report to kind of keep an eye on it and to be like advocates for it, right? And so part of having a policy is creating a town advisory committee that would be, so the borough professionals are the ones who are enacting the policy, but they would report occasionally to the advisory committee. And let me go. I'm going to skip forward. So it's not a design. It's not building sidewalks everywhere, putting crosswalks everywhere, putting bike lanes everywhere. It's including. It's going through a checklist when a road project gets done or when a development project gets done to document whether those things are needed. And if they're not needed, there are exceptions in place as a core part of the policy. So these are the reasons from the New Jersey model policy, which would be adopted into yours. If a user group is prohibited by law from using that road, or if there's a demonstrated absence of current and future need. In other words, if it doesn't go anywhere, you're not allowed to walk there, or you're not allowed to bike there, or it's an unsafe location, then those needs wouldn't need to be accommodated. But if there are folks who are reasonably going to be walking in that neighborhood, for example, then accommodating them safely is, and by slowing traffic speed or by building a sidewalk, would be something that should be included in a project. So this is carried out by having a checklist for the borough professionals or applicants to the borough to fill out. And it fits through the entire part of, you might think of planning a transportation improvement. So when you were talking earlier about how the sewer project is going to enable the redevelopment of the shopping center, I believe. And so this is a part of the planning process where the policy would come into effect. You would either ask the developer to complete the checklist, to look at, and the borough professionals and staff would use it as a guide so that they could make sure they're adequately addressing the needs of everyone who's going to be using that new shopping center. Can you get from, can you get from here across the street? If you're already across the street, can you get through the parking lot safely as a person walking or as a person biking, not just as a person driving, to get to the front door of the shops in the shopping center? So those would be the types of considerations that would be included under the project, under the using the complete streets policy. But there's also more immediate checklists, such as for maintenance, right? So if there's going to be a project where you need to rip up the road for a drainage improvement, are we putting back the same thing that was there before, or is there an opportunity to improve the roadway striping, for example, by maybe putting in, based on the guidance of the borough engineer, of putting in a crosswalk where there's already a crossing, or better delineating the edges of the roadway with striping or things like that. So kind of making sure that those things are considered as a matter of course to give a safety benefit. So that's a really quick kind of high level overview of what it looks like. And I know I talked a lot about nuts and bolts, but I'd be glad to continue working with you and Mr. Coons to help you work through it.
Thank you.
All right, so I just want to point out, you were provided with a copy of the policy document that has a draft resolution and the borough's draft policy in it, which is basically taking all of this information, taking the draft policy and sort of, there's a lot of choices. You know, who do you want to do this? Who do you want to do that? And sort of customizing it to, you know, what we think would work best for the borough. So that's something I'd like us to move forward with next year and actually implementing and passing and adopting. As we were saying, this is good for us in terms of grant opportunities because you get extra points if you have this compared to municipal entities that do not. And it's also a way of looking at these issues rather systematically and holistically in the development process, both internally and when you're looking at external projects as well, to make sure that they're assessed and addressed, if possible, as you were saying. So,
would this be included in the master plan?
I don't know that there's a master plan element for this, but I'm really not that familiar with that.
Yeah, this wouldn't be addressed typically in the master plan, although, so part of one of the kind of best practice recommendations for the state guide is for the committee to complete a review with the support of the borough, complete a review of current borough policies and administrative kind of policies and standards that are in place, and look for opportunities to make them more in line with the Complete Streets policy statement. And so the folks that I talk about, the team who are not here today, this program is delivered by us we've worked with 24 municipalities to date with the folks at Sustainable Jersey at the College of New Jersey and with the Rutgers Voorhees Transportation Center. And the folks at Rutgers who worked on this project did an initial scan of the borough's policies and procedures, and in the report made recommendations for changes that could be made in the future to make sure everything lines up.
Are the towns that have this, are they like more rural or more urban, or, you know, is it a mix? Is it?
Actually, there was a slide here. Sorry about skipping through. That does have a map. So they tend to be. Let's see.
Probably more urban and more traditional.
Yeah, and they tend to be more. They tend to be more urban, but not entirely. And so that's why the policy is a way to approach considering these other needs, but it's not prescriptive in terms of how you address them.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm a part of public events, and you guys came to the trunk or treat event, and we were worried because we don't usually have things like that at our events. It's more about the kids, and you guys were wonderful, and you even had stuff, you were handing out stuff. You became part of the thing, really. It was very nice. Thank you for your attendance.
Yeah, thank you again. And it was really great to hear directly from folks in town about what they're interested in, and how people who live here a long time and people who are new and are looking for want to do the best for their kids to be able to get around and to get to the sports and things like that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Peter, thank you very much. We'll be in touch as we roll into the new year.
Thanks.
Okay. So we have some raffle licenses.
Mayor, could maybe there was a lot of questions about the bridge. Maybe if we let Mr. Boswell answer maybe some of the questions that.
I don't know if he has the answers right away. There were some very technical questions.
I did write some of the questions down, and I could perhaps answer them to the best of my ability.
All right, if you want to do that now.
Thank you. Mr. Kushner asked a number of different questions, and the first one was, has the county signed on to accept the bridge after the superstructure is replaced? And the answer is no.
I could have said that with an emphasis. I did say no while you were speaking.
Okay.
We tried, Laura.
The second
Every
one
time I see them, I
related to
try.
guarantees associated with, I interpret it as both performance as well as the bridge itself being warranted. There are a number of different bonds that are put in place. There's a performance bond that's put in place while the construction is ongoing. There's a maintenance bond that is to make sure that the road doesn't settle for a period of 2 years after the work. And then there's an actual warranty that goes with the bridge. So the bridge itself is a separate component that is warranted. I don't know the timeline offhand, but I can certainly provide that. Question was, could there be an intermittent opening of the bridge? The answer is, I strongly doubt it. It's a secured construction yard under when a contractor steps onto a project, there are certain standards that go into place. And since the bridge already was cordoned down to a very narrow cartway width, that it really is impractical to try to maintain, as part of what we refer to as the maintenance and protection and traffic plan, to maintain traffic across that. So in order to, frankly, make the cost significantly less to the borough, there's a full shutdown as part of the bid documents. In order to maintain this open, it would have been a much different cost to work on this project. The bid documents were not prepared that way. And when I say a much different cost, easily on the order of 20 to 30 or 40%. The maintenance and protection of traffic across this bridge in such a tight quarters, while you're picking heavy steel and utilities, it brings a whole nother level of complexity. Stag City New Bridge, the superstructure of the bridge will effectively resemble exactly what's there. The truss system will remain the same because you're using the same abutment system. What's going to change is the type of steel that is used. What was used was a weathering steel, that rusts, and what you will see now is galvanized steel. It's a very different, it has very different characteristics. There was a question concerning the width of the roadway, and again, it's 20 feet wide to fix other structures with the money. The money, as the mayor alluded to, the money is specific for the purposes of this. It makes perfect sense to us sitting here saying, if we have extra money, can we use it somewhere else? That would require a request to reprogram those funds. It's not to say it's impossible, but there's a process. And typically, it's a very difficult lift to be able to get funds redirected over to another project. But it's not to say it can't happen. It just is a very tall order to get done. There was a person at 23 Winding Ridge, and there was a question relating to moving the utilities. How are they going to do it? What if it doesn't happen? And what happens in public contracting law is there's something called means and methods. Means and methods are that the contractor gets to identify how they're going to do something. And it's the law is on their side in that case. We can't tell the contractor how to do something. We can tell them, we can give them stipulations on specific structures of what it's got to look like, but the contractor is free to come up with an idea of if there's going to be a completely separate structure, if there's going to be big I-beams going across the bridge. That's what is referred to as means and methods. That's within the contractor's purview. If it doesn't work, I think that was the question, it's on the contractor to come up with the means and methods. It's up to us to review those shop drawings of what the means and methods are, to say this doesn't pose a danger or it violates a permit, but it is within the contractor's purview to go ahead and propose those ways of getting it done. The project schedule, it's a good question, but actually we stipulate a timeline from beginning of project notice to proceed until the substantial completion of the project. What we do at the pre-con meeting is we direct the contractor to give us a construction schedule. And as soon as that construction schedule comes to us, we then share it, of course, with the borough. And that the contractor says that they believe it will take, and I will tell you, they are saying it's going to take a year. We don't believe it. And the reason we don't believe it is because we don't believe that the utility relocations by the utility companies will occur in the manner and the timeline that they're saying. We think that's very, very optimistic. If it is quicker, everybody's going to be happy. And you know, we can all go our separate ways. We don't believe that's realistic. So we have told the contractor in no uncertain terms that the overhead you carry for that 21 months, don't expect to come back here. And that's why we have, and I believe it's 275 days, but that's why we have that protection. It's a protection actually for the borough, because if we put in that it's 18 months and it goes 21 or 360 months or 360 days or whatever, contractor comes back and says there's a delay claim, and they put in a delay claim against the borough. So now you get into this whole other aspect of it. So you have to protect the interests of the borough as it relates to the money and getting it done, the timeline of getting it done. He's going to have to buy insurance, he's going to have to rent a field office, he's going to absorb an administrative cost for the tenure of the project. He gets it done quicker, he makes a lot of money. When we built 4 and 17 down there, it was a 27-month job. It was done in 13 months. The contractor got a premium from the DOT to open it early, got a $2 million premium. So it's not like it doesn't happen, it happens, but I'm just trying to manage expectations. Closing for weather and reopening. Again, this a resident talked about, you know, they've seen trucks go over, they've seen buses go over. I can't even tell you how personally that's very upsetting to me. We've shut down Hillside Avenue in Upper Saddle River for exactly the same reason. It's completely shut down right now. It's because there were vehicles that were ignoring the weight posting. The bridge is shut down. It's been shut down for 3 years now, and that for exactly that reason. So, and it's not a police, you know, they can't sit there and maintain that, and a vehicle like that goes across can weaken the bridge so that a car coming behind it can go through the bridge. So that's a very, very concerning statement. Why didn't it work? The repairs. The DOT brought in Michael Baker International to perform this inspection. They recommended the following priority repairs, as we have done in the past. We performed those priority repairs. They went back, inspected it, and said, we're still not satisfied, we're not lifting it, in fact, we're cordoning it off. So we followed to the T what was recommended, and why it didn't work, we really can't answer, because as the borough's representative, we don't want the borough to assume that liability of what's going on. It's frankly, right now, the liability of that determination is on the DOT's consultant. It would be reckless of us to suggest that we should just disregard this and do something different. Boswell RE, what happens if we're not retained throughout the tenure of the project? That's a possibility. We do have a proposal to be retained throughout the tenure of the project. We work at the pleasure of the mayor and council, and so I think that's pretty obvious that they control whether we are there, regardless of whether or not we service the borough engineer. There will be Alice Kalecki in Navajo. Will there be more traffic from the detour? Yes, there will be. Is it possible that there should be other measures done to address one lady who's on Lakeshore right at the intersection, talked about cars parking on the road? It might be necessary to flag those areas temporarily for no parking lanes. We've all seen kids shoot out from between parked cars, and we don't want to think about what the consequences would be. So yes, those are very pointed, practical safety measures that may happen. So as it relates to the bridge, I think that's the limit of what my comment should
Thank
be.
you.
But I hope that's
Okay.
responsive.
We'll move forward now. If you think of anything later, you could ask. Raffle license, $14.75 for the Indian Hills Parents Athletic Committee on February 15, 2024, and it's for the Ramsey Indian Hills Ice Hockey Team General Fundraising. Motion approved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? 1476 is a raffle license for the Sports Association of Oakland to be on January 21st, 2024 at the Indian Hills High School. Proceeds will be used to purchase equipment for the Oakland Braves wrestling and for tournament fees. A motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Raffle license 1477, it's for the Oakland PBA Local 164 for January 20th, 2024, 50/50 at the American Legion Hall for the PBA Local nonprofit organization that donates and supports local families and organizations. Motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 1478, raffle license 1478. It's for the Oakland PBA, and it's an application for a 50/50 raffle license on January 20, 2024 at the American Legion for the benefit of Oakland families and organizations.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the last one is approved social affairs permit for the Oakland PBA Local 164, January 2024 for a casino night.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Now we have resolutions. 23-345 through 23-351, and I am pulling out 23-351 to be done separately.
Motion to approve?
Well, I didn't read them yet.
Oh. I forgot.
23-345, authorize hire clerk 1 municipal court. It is Dana Salazar, clerk 1, at a salary of $45,000, effective December 18, 2023. 23-346, amend the bylaws of the Oakland Communications Commission. 23-347, authorize refund of taxes for 2023 fourth quarter overpayment to Jennifer and Anthony Gianpietro, 675 Birchwood Drive, Wyckoff, Block 1901, Lot 30, and the CFO has certified that funds are available, $3,285.39. 23-348, authorized refund of taxes 2023 fourth quarter overpayment. Eric Tomasevich, 4358 Sun Mill Court in Bradenton, Florida, Block 3903, Lot 4218, and it's for the amount of $2,505.82. A CFO has verified that funds are there and due. Resolution 23-349, opposing Assembly Bill 5659, establishing the 21st Century Injured Workers Access to Justice Act. 23-350, resolution authorizing refund of tax overpayments resulting from tax court judgment at P&T Company. So it is Block 3903, Lot 77, 306 Rampart Valley Road, and the refund is $2,528.40. Block 3903, Lot 77, 306 Rampart Valley Road, P&T Company. $3,278.49 for a total of $5,806.89. And it's been verified. 23, 52 is, 351, I have pulled out. 352 is off the agenda for tonight. 353 is award bid Lakeview Terrace drainage improvements, $123,706.85 to KM Construction Corp., Irvington, New Jersey, and our CFO has certified funds are available. 354 award bid Jerome Avenue drainage improvements to Crossroads Paving Company, $133,350. Alternate bid $12,400, total $145,750, and our CFO has certified that the funds are available. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call. Remember, we pulled out 351.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Kuzinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right. Resolution 23-351, award bid to Concus Corporation for the superstructure replacement of Patriots Way Bridge. Bids were received November 21st, 2023 for the superstructure replacement of Patriots Way Bridge. Concus Corporation submitted the lowest responsive and responsible bid, $4,776,150.92. Borough Administrator, Engineer, and Attorney have reviewed the bids and recommend the bid be awarded to Concus Corporation. Our CFO has certified that the funds are available, and the Borough Administrator is directed to prepare an appropriate contract for the same, and the Mayor and Borough Clerk are directed to execute the agreement on behalf of the Borough. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Kuzinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
We have some ordinances. This is the adoption of 23 Code 934. It is amending and reenacting paragraphs 138 of ordinance number 22 Code 887 titled Code of the Borough of Oakland, Salaries of Municipal Employees. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak? Motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt 23 Code 934.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Saliani?
Yes.
Kuzinski?
Yes.
Talamini?
Yes.
Code 23935 is amending and supplementing Section 13, Chapter 13, Section 10, fee schedule entitled Charges and Fees. This has to do with the water and sewer system, and that is Ocean. Motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak? Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion to adopt 23 Code 935, charges and fees.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Saliani?
Yes.
Kuzinski?
Yes.
Talamini?
Yes.
Ordinance 23 Code 936, an ordinance establishing the Sustainable Oakland Green Team. Is there a motion to open to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak? Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Saliani?
Yes.
Kuzinski?
Yes.
Talamini?
Yes.
Just so you know, for if anybody is interested, 2 members shall serve a 5-year term. 2 members shall serve a 4-year term. 1 member shall serve a 3-year term, All 3 alternate members shall each serve 2-year terms. And then we have 23 Code 937, an ordinance establishing requirements of the storage of salt and other solid de-icing materials from being exposed to stormwater. Motion to open to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak? Motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt an ordinance 23 Code 934 establishing requirements of the storage of salt and other solid de-icing materials from being exposed to stormwater. 7.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say 4? Oh. Okay, I'm getting tongue-tied. Motion,
So moved. Second.
roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Saliani?
No.
Slasinski?
Yes.
Talamini?
Yes.
And now we have work session.
Thank you, Mayor.
Amend code enforcement fees and also amend recreation fees.
Yes, so I'll take the first one first, amend code enforcement fees. So, our staff in our code enforcement department has kind of undertaken a rather exhaustive and thorough review of the current fee structure for a variety of code implementations, including construction, fire prevention, and zoning. We benchmarked against surrounding towns like Franklin Lakes, Wyckoff, Mawa, and Ramsey. And by comparison, our fees are dramatically lower than those surrounding communities. In fact, looking at the legislative history, fees in those areas really haven't been updated at all in 14 or 15 years or so. So what we're looking to do in terms of providing service to the public and make sure that those fees are adequate to cover costs, especially with the Hovnanian Lenore project coming up next year, we want to make sure that we have the financial resources in place to be able to provide permit reviews and inspections that are needed for that project without burdening the taxpayer. So we undertook this to update our fees, make sure that we're collecting the amount of revenue that we should in 2024. And this also would update the code in a couple of other ways. One, it would implement the regulations that came about last year for lead paint abatement and require inspections in that regard, and also revises the fee structure for CCO inspections as well, because we've sort of bifurcated out the fire prevention part of it now, so it revises that fee schedule as well. So it's rather comprehensive. We provided marked up versions of the ordinances, so you can see exactly what would be changing, and as well as a Excel spreadsheet that summarizes all of the fee revisions as well. So with that, if anybody has any questions, we could talk about it. If everybody's okay, we would move this forward in January via ordinance for an amendment.
Mr. Coates?
Yes.
Question. I'm looking at fees here. With the project of the size and scope of Lennar Homes, will this cover, and do we have enough staffing to inspect and watch over that project?
Yeah, so that's a discussion I had recently with our construction official. Some of that will depend on their developer's pace of construction and how quickly they need inspections. Well, we talked about the possibility of needing to hire some temporary inspectors next year. That may be a possibility. And again, I want us to be in a position where we have the financial resources to do that if that's required.
So raising these fees will cover the cost of hiring those inspectors if needed, so without putting the burden on the existing taxpayer?
Based on what we're projecting right now, it should, yes.
Thank you.
Are we losing money on our current fees? I mean, some of these fees are double and triple.
Yeah, because that's how far behind we are compared to what a lot of other towns are doing. Especially when it comes to construction, it's meant to be self-sufficient. Your fee structure should be enough there to cover direct and ancillary costs for the operation of the construction office. So that's salaries, that's fringe, that's even pro rata amounts for things like utilities, square footage for the building, operation of the vehicles that they use, and the like. So.
And I think you said it, I missed it, I apologize, I forget reading it too. When was the last time we raised our fees?
If you look at the legislative history, some of this hasn't been updated since 2008, 2009.
Could we just make sure going forward, we keep up on it a little better?
Yes.
All right.
That was my next question, Russ, thank you.
Yes.
All right, now you have amend recreation fees?
Right, so this is something we do every year. Recreation does a great job in coming up with a proposed budget every year. It's a rather complex budget. There's a lot of programs, there's a lot of moving parts. You'd get a headache if you saw the spreadsheet that Neil Melman prepares that has a matrix of everything. But with that comes projected costs for the programs and relatedly projected fees to cover those costs. So this year, and really I think probably starting last year, coming out of the pandemic, we've been seeing in recreation the same way we have in a lot of parts of the operation. Just a lot of inflationary cost increases related to equipment, league fees, officials, and the like. So that's all built into this, as well as additional administrative support to keep up with all those varied activities and expanding summer camp and the like. So there's the person there that would go to full-time, share some time with the senior center, but there's certainly enough work there to keep that person busy. And lastly, what's really exciting about this is Recreation has been working with the Chamber of Commerce.
On sponsorship.
On a sponsorship program. So you're going to see baseball and softball, they're actually going down a little bit because the uniforms would be basically purchased by local businesses that choose to sponsor baseball and softball teams. So this is a great partnership.
Chamber of Commerce is really encouraging this.
Yes, yep, they came in with a proposal, and I think the hope is that this is successful and can maybe even be expanded as it moves forward. So that's all sort of taken into account.
My son, and I think I've told a couple of the coaches, my son runs the girls softball league in Northbrook, Illinois. And every year I have to send him a check to buy his shirt. So I know what it's like, yes. So that's good. And I don't think he ever gets notice from businesses, so it should work out very well with the chamber.
And
Great.
as you said, the fees are going down. Down.
Yes. Any new business? Old business? Borough Council reports. We'll start with Councilman Talamini.
First, let me just say thank you, Mayor Schrager, for
thank you.
your services, Mayor. It's a big give to sit up here and take all the abuse from both sides. I really appreciate anyone that sits up here and does this. This has always been a big part of my family, and I'm just happy that you served us and you served us well.
Thank you.
And just thank you. And then I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, any other holidays that I'm missing, not to dismiss them, but and then public events. I wasn't at the last meeting. I was attending my daughter's event. The public events. What a wonderful tree lighting and menorah lighting we had. Just and the parade, the light parade, Santa being there. The sing along, the choir that came, the high school choir that came. It was wonderful. It's just public events is a wonderful thing, and it was a wonderful event. And then congratulations to Access for All with your Santa event, that it went so well. And please, if you can volunteer to be a member of public events, Access for All or any other committee up here, we need we could always use your help. Finance, the budget's moving along. We'll have more meetings as we get into the new year. And schools will be closed, so just watch out for the kids running around doing whatever they do. And again, Happy New Year and enjoy the holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. I attended with Councilman Saliani, went to the BCUA meeting yesterday in Little Falls, and we had an opportunity to put
It's Little Ferry.
somewhere.
That's where it is.
Somewhere
It's
little.
in Little Ferry.
Somewhere little. It was very difficult to get there with all the flooding, but we had an opportunity to really put the residents' concerns on the record in front of the commissioners. One of the things I did ask the commissioners was, just like in our planning board, when we have a big application comes in front of us, we normally go out and visit the site and really understand what's involved before we make a determination or have any deliberation. I did ask the members, and obviously, as you know, in these council meetings, we don't really have a back and forth, but I did ask them the question. I asked them, of all the commissioners sitting here, how many of you have come down to Oakland to really understand the gravity of the situation and where it is situated to the subdivision that it's next to? Obviously, I was shot down saying it's not a back and forth, which kind of says that nobody came out to see it. After that, I did invite them to come down to Oakland and really understand the gravity of the situation. I did give them a handout that Mr. Boswell put together for us that showed how close the houses are and the river is to we'll just call it a dump, that they're dumping on New Jersey. And I also expressed to them that the surrounding towns of Pompton Lakes, Riverdale have also provided letters of support against this. So it was, we're working really hard on this to really stop this from coming to Oakland. And Mayor, I just want to say to you, a lot of times we didn't really see eye to eye, but I still remember the breakfast that we would have and sit down and talk through the issues. And, working with you, moving the town forward is the most important thing. And I wish you success and with your family. And
Thank you, I
taking
appreciate
care of
that.
Steve
I appreciate that.
So I want to just wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you next year.
And good luck to you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman.
Mayor, I'd also like to thank you for your service, 12 years, wow, that's amazing. Oakland really appreciates everything.
Thank you.
As do I. Let's see, from the Oakland Communications Commission, I'd like to congratulate the OCC on having 500 subscribers on our borough's YouTube channel. This is an impressive milestone, as a couple of close towns to ours is the village of Ridgewood with 385 subscribers, and the borough of Ringwood has 238 subscribers. Great job, all. If you'd like to follow the borough on YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/Oakland Borough. I would also like to congratulate TV Committee Vice Chair and Commission Member Mark Albala for being elected to the JAG, which is the Jersey Access Group Executive Board. The JAG was formed in order to inform and educate members of issues facing municipalities concerning the connectivity and distribution of information from both internally and externally wired and wireless connections. This includes services by emergency responders, television stations, radio stations, security networks, IT departments, and classroom education. Also, I'd like to mention that the Christmas tree and menorah lighting video is on the borough's YouTube channel and on Oakland TV. From my library update, the OPL will have the Exposure to Fiber Arts class on December 28th at 6:30 p.m. This class is geared for tweens and teens and parents. It is an introduction to knitting and stitching and is an excellent base upon which to build for future classes in 2024. You can check the calendar for details and to register. They will be rolling in the new year with a presentation on how AI is revolutionizing the world on January 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Also on January 2nd, the regular programs for children resume. Check the calendar for details. The Cookbook Club is back. Their next meeting is Monday, January 8th at 6 p.m. Registration is required. Lastly, Yoga with Sonia will be held on Tuesday, January 9th at 6:30 p.m. Registration is required for all for this event as well. The library will be closed on the 24th and the 25th of December, and the 31st of December and the 1st of January. I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and see you next year. Thank you.
Councilman?
My committees did not meet, so we have late reports. So I do want to start with thanking DPW for all their work over the past 48 hours dealing with the flood. They were working long shifts, so I think they should be acknowledged for the work they've done. Also, from a flood commission, Roy Balberger, what he's done over the past 72 hours, walking river, working with Boswell, working with our DPW. I want to thank him for all his efforts and what he's doing to help and give information back to the community. He's not done. He'll be walking river again to make sure there's no damage, or excuse me, assess the damage because there is damage. From a flood commission, real quick, the group asked me to remind the council and the borough administrator regarding we put a plan together for the Ramapo River project, and we want to see if we can get it on the agenda for a working session for January of next year. Mayor, I want to thank you for your service for the last 12 years. I'm probably up here because of you in a roundabout way of you appointing me, so I think it was referenced before that you appointed me the recognition, so thank you for that. And I also want to thank you for your service to the community and appreciate open and honest conversations we've had. It's been an honor and privilege to serve with you the past 2 years on the dais.
Thank you.
And everyone, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Bills to be paid. Oh, sorry. Open public comment. I missed that part. Anyone wish, a motion to open?
It's a long meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Now we're open. All in favor?
Aye.
Deb Mutter, 101 Walnut Street. You saw the street. The water coming up on the street already? Right?
Walnut Street.
Walnut Street. It's coming up on the street already. So what are we going to do about that?
Borough engineer's aware of it.
Are they going to fix my driveway?
Don't want to do on the street, but borough engineer's working on it.
We're fixing my driveway too.
Borough engineer has all the information.
Huh?
Borough engineer has all the information.
All right. Please. I've been waiting a year. So, and you know the street is wet too, again. I don't know if you're aware of that. The water's seeping up in the street already.
Where's it?
Oh yeah, the water's seeping up. It's coming up. So they didn't do a proper job.
It's coming up on the roadway?
Absolutely. It's only been a year. And 3 of us went to the same meeting that they went to last night. We just missed the open session, public.
So you found Little Ferry?
We found Little Ferry. Thank you.
Hello, Ryan Schwertfeger, 130 Hiawatha Boulevard. Go as quickly as I can. Just for anyone at home who's watching, a little Oakland TV information. So we have the Yule log, I know, riveting road programming. 3 in the morning. We have the Christmas tree and menorah lighting ceremony is on at 9 a.m. and also at 4:00 p.m. if you want to watch that. We have 2 special movies that are on that are Christmas themed. So we have The Miracle on 34th Street from 1955 is on at 4:30, and The March of the Wooden Soldiers from 1934. So you notice how we're not violating copyright here, at 9:00 p.m. every day. So that's going to be probably through.
And the 4:30 is at 4:30 a.m.
4:30 p.m. Yes, matinee movie, just like the old days. You come home from school and the movie would be on. So that's we're going with all that kind of stuff. I also want to congratulate Eric on his win as mayor, and as well as Russ, and I know Pat's not here, so we look forward to working with you. Congratulations. Mayor, obviously I want to thank you for your years, not only as mayor, but also you've served time on the council as well a while ago, so I want to thank you for your support of Oakland Communications Commission. Also, obviously I was doing the dog park for all of those years, and that's when a lot of the progress happened with both you and Mike. So I want to thank you both for that as well. And also just flashing back even a little bit more when you were running for mayor and I was doing my polling in town. I was always very appreciative that you were open for interviews and wanting to talk and things like that.
Were you in high school then?
That was like middle school, early high school already. So that was a while ago. So, but I always wanted to thank you for that. And I always remember because you actually share your birthday with my mom's birthday. So it's always kind of an interesting reminder when I see, your birthday come up.
I'm a true
And
Capricorn.
and I also, appreciate that. I remember when my mom passed away, you came to the funeral, which was very nice. And so there's a lot of things with mayor that people see, and there's a lot of things that people don't see. And I think it's sometimes important that gets a little lost, the things that happen behind the scenes as well as what happens in the scenes in front of everybody. So I want to say thank you very much again for your service. I wish you a happy new year, and I hope that Steve also improves with his health as well.
I appreciate that very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Motion to close.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bills to be paid.
Well, before we do that, Wendy, don't we have a little gift for the mayor?
Oh.
Gotta go get it.
We should play some music while we wait. It's a pony.
I won't put it in my car.
You might need you all to go home.
Put the top down.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
On behalf of your years of service as the
Oh.
mayor.
Oh my
and the
goodness.
council members,
Wow.
little card.
Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for,
Yours.
thank you for everything that I was.
Oh, no problem, George.
Oh, my goodness.
You gave me the same respect when I was going through it.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Open your gift.
Oh,
You have
open.
to open it.
Oh, the car, it was open card. Thank you so much. Oh, and it's signed by everybody, so thank you. I really appreciate that, thank you. All right, I'll open the gift. Oh.
One more layer.
That's so beautiful. Oh my God.
Very nice. Thanks.
And it says, Mayor Linda H. Schwager, January 1st, 2012, December 31st, 2023. In recognition and appreciation for your dedicated and exemplary service during 3 terms as mayor of the Borough of Oakland. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Bills to be paid.
Bills to be paid, $391,932.57. So moved.
Second.
Second.
And if you've read the bills list, you can vote. Roll call.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Saliani?
Yes.
Lizinski?
Yes.
Talamini?
Yes.
And motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The oath of office will be held Sunday, January 7th, 12 noon, right here in council chambers. The new meeting dates, everybody pay attention, because the next council meeting will be held Tuesdays. They're now going to be on Tuesday nights. So it will be held Tuesday, January 9th, 2024, 7 p.m. right here in council chambers. I just want to say thank you to all the residents of Oakland for giving me the privilege and the honor to serve as mayor. And please, I wish everyone a very healthy new year. Thank you.
I'm gonna put this back. I don't need it. Congratulations. You think great.
Now, Matt.